going.
Okay. So let's look at the word jot. I want you to write this down so that you know what we mean by when we say jot down notes. So what does it mean to jot down notes? Are you writing extensive sentences? No. Liberty, what does jot mean?
Just like write down some quick notes.
Yes, quick notes. Okay? You don't have to write 3 to 5 sentences when you're taking notes. Even if it's a word that reminds you of something. You can just write that word down. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's look at realistic fiction and the definition. Does somebody want to read it for me? Okay, I'll do it. Okay, realistic fiction is imaginative writing that reflects life as it could be lived today. Everything in a realistic fiction story could actually happen to real people living in today's world. Realistic fiction helps people move toward a fuller understanding of themselves and others. After reading that, what should we jot down as notes to remind us what realistic fiction is? So what should we jot down? What kind of writing is it? What does it reflect? I won't say your name on camera if that's why we're being shy. It's okay.
Nope.
We'll go over it. Okay, so let's look at the first line. Realistic fiction is imaginative writing that reflects life as it could be lived today. So right there, it's telling us that realistic fiction could be lived today. It is something that could actually happen in real life. Something that could happen in real life. Okay. Sorry. Now, the next sentence says, everything in realistic fiction could actually happen to real people living in today's world. Well, did we already write that? Something that could happen in real life? Yep. Okay, we're moving on. Realistic fiction helps people move toward a fuller understanding of themselves or others. So what is realistic fiction teaching you? It's helping you do what? Understand. Yes. Okay. So, helps people better understand themselves. Mrs. Kane, I think we're going to do one more together.
Okay.
All right. How do I make this bigger?
Like that.
Okay. Too far. Historical fiction. Historical fiction consists of realistic stories that are set in the past. So right there it tells us, where is historical fiction set? In the past. So I'm going to write set in the past. Now, there's 3 types of historical fiction we are going to look at. The first one is when the author creates a fictional story around actual events and people. So what should we jot down for that? Fake story, but real people. Fake story, but real people and events. This would be your I Survived. So the second one, am I going too fast? Good? Okay. Second one, the story has little or no reference to known historical events or people, but how the characters live are true to the time period. So how can I jot that down so that I remember what that means? Characters' lives are true to the time, right? Okay. And the last one, story tells a past through another genre such as fantasy. So it's telling you about the past, but it's adding in fantasy elements. Okay, so tells of past, but adds in fantasy. So that would be, what would be an example of that?
There's one. It's called, I think it's called the Timekeepers, where it's like they have a like a magical clock, and then they go back in time to mess with stuff and figure out. Da Vinci Code would
so
also
your
be one.
time machine type
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. Da Vinci Code is also one.
Can't really go in a time machine, but they might take you through a time machine, but they'll tell you the true events of what actually happened.